Let's move on to the next segment, which is, if it comes up, what you know now that you wish you knew then. And in the interest of time, I'm going to allot 2 minutes to each of you. What do you wish you knew back then that you know now? Sophia,
So,
you're on the clock.
all right, my favorite is to say, think before you speak, and using that as an acronym, because you can't recover, and we talk a lot, right? This is our profession. We've been trained to speak, and a lot of times we want to make a point, but what is our point? So being very thoughtful about what it is. So the first thing is it true? Is it helpful? Is there a reason that I'm making this comment? Do I need to communicate this? Is it important? Is it necessary? And is it kind? And I definitely can go back, and there's so many times that I felt like I need to make this point. In fact, now that I'm a law professor, God, I'd love to go to law school again. If I knew when my students come and argue points with me, I'm like, I'm your professor, I'm right. You're not going to win this. Like, I'm not here to have a debate with you in certain situations. But what is the value? What are you trying to accomplish with your speech? So if my one takeaway and one thing that I wish that I knew beforehand was, you don't need to say everything that comes to your mind. You need to think before you speak, and you need to understand what is the value. I always say, take 2 steps ahead. What are you trying to accomplish with what you're about to say, or what you're about to do from your action? And usually when you get to that second step, that's when you're going to pause and say, oh, well, I was going to accomplish that first thing. I know what I wanted from a response. But if I didn't get that, would I actually accomplish the goal that I'm trying to with this conversation, this communication? So if you can think before you speak, before you email, before you say something that can get you in trouble, just make sure that you have goal-oriented actions.
Have a plan with the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Josh?
I would say that the clients that you target are, I wish I had known more about targeting the prospects that were going to make me more successful as a business development attorney. That, as you probably gleaned from my last comment about the CL0 characterization, I especially when you're starting out, nobody likes paying legal bills. It's just a fact, and they may like you a lot, but you have to be developing clients that will pay, and that will pay what your firm will bill you out as, and that will pay on a timely basis, and will not look to negotiate every bill, and will not look for ways to negotiate and get write-offs, because you have to, we have a skill, all we have to sell is our time, and if you bring in a lot of clients and they don't pay their bills, they suck up a lot of firm resources, and they drive you crazy, you'd be much better off not doing it. So there were several clients that I paid my tuition with, and I probably didn't have to pay as much tuition as I paid. I don't know if
So
that's 2 minutes or not, but.
Pick your clients.
Exactly.
Max?
Business plan. Put together a business plan. I can't emphasize it enough. And make sure that business plan takes into account and maximizes the variables we talked about, your firm, your experience, your skills and interests, very, very important. The time commitments you have, the practice areas, the client demographics, and your resources. Incredibly important. You're not going to know where you're going or where you've been unless you've got the business plan. The other thing is track your efforts. Make sure that you're just like that high-tech company selling software. You've got your you've got in a database. You've got your customers and you've got your prospects, and you know exactly how you've been interacting with them. And lastly, meaningfully engage a mentor. Make sure you've got somebody who's helping you fly the flag, because it's going to help a lot. It's going to help with respect to getting resources to do what you want to do. It's also going to help when it comes time to be promoted, because that person will be able to speak very, very directly about the things that you've done to act like a partner and become a partner.
Business plan and mentor. I guess I would leave you with this. In order to accomplish all of what we've talked about, being a good lawyer and being a business developer, you need to own your time. You need to control time. And I don't mean Keanu Reeves Matrix style. I do mean understanding how you use every second of every day. Figure in how much sleep you need. Figure where you want to be involved and how it's going to fit into your schedule. We tell people we interview every time, there's no such thing as work-life balance. I don't believe that there is with the kind of work that I do. But there's work-life flexibility. Work-life flexibility only works, though, if you own your time. So, I find time, I'm out a lot of evening events. Max mentioned, and I see all these guys. But I still find time to coach and be involved in things in my town. But it's because I've figured out a way to own all of my time. So I don't have lost time. Now, I'm not a big TV watcher, and if there's something I want to watch, I tape it, and maybe I make sure that I don't waste time on that, even on commercials. I'll squeeze it in on a Sunday when I know my kids are going to be asleep or when they're studying or something like that. The point is, look at what your schedule is and figure out how to make it work. Sometimes it's just something as simple as, I'm commuting too long. I can't do everything that I'm doing and still have a 2-hour commute each way. It doesn't work. That guy Mike Sams was talking about using all my time and even figuring out how much I sleep. If I'm going to do all of that, I'm only going to have 2 hours of sleep. Well, that doesn't work. So you got to figure out a way. Maybe it is not living exactly where you live. I know I moved when we started our firm because I knew I knew I didn't want to be losing a lot of time on the road. I knew that I could use that time better. I moved. I'm not saying that's the answer for everybody, but my point is consider everything and figure out how you can make it work. It's not necessarily a 9-to-5 job. You may need to get up if you're trying to get to the gym, and that's really important to you. It may mean you get up at 4:30 in the morning to get to the gym before you get to work. It may mean that you get up super early and get to work way ahead of everybody, and you're able to leave at a reasonable hour such that you can go to the gym afterwards. There's solutions, and the solution has to fit what works for you, but the point is you got to own your time.